Donald Trump's former personal attorney and fixer, Michael Cohen, was officially released from prison and house arrest today. In 2018, Cohen was sentenced to 3 years in prison for a series of financial crimes stemming from his hush money payments to Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal, two women who say they had affairs with Donald Trump while he was married to Melania. Outside the federal courthouse in New York today, Cohen vowed to expose all he knows.
Today, I will not cease my commitment to law enforcement. I will continue to provide information, testimony, documents, and my full cooperation on all ongoing investigations to ensure that others are held responsible for their dirty deeds and that no one is ever believed to be above the law.
As of this morning, Michael Cohen is a free man, and he is stopping by our newsroom set for his very first interview. While serving his sentence, Cohen also wrote the book Disloyal, a memoir, and he's the host of the Mea Culpa podcast, and Michael joins us exclusively now. Michael, great to see you.
It's great to be here, Allison. Been waiting for this day for a long time.
How are you feeling?
I feel tired, to be very honest with you. I had to get up very early this morning. I went to the Bronx to go pick up the initial papers at 6 a.m., then down to 500 Pearl Street, which, as you saw, had quite a few gaggle going on there. It was an interesting day, to say the least.
Well, people have been following these past 3 years of your journey, and the fact that you've been speaking out about what you've learned from your association with Donald Trump and having gone to prison and house arrest. You know, I talked about how all of this stemmed from the hush money payments to Stephanie Clifford, also known as Stormy Daniels, and Karen McDougal. You were the only person who was ever prosecuted for those hush money payments. Well, how do you explain that?
You can't explain it, but I do want to make this promise to you and to all of your viewers that I may have been prosecuted, and right now I am the only one, but I will not be the only one at the end of the...
For this crime?
For this crime and for others.
Who else will be prosecuted for the hush money payments?
I'm going to leave that to the district attorney and to the attorney general to continue their investigations and continue their...
But I mean, who else was involved?
Well, there were quite a few people that were involved. Eric Trump was involved. Obviously, Alan Weisselberg was already under indictment. Don Jr., Ivanka. There were a slew of people that were involved in this. I was certainly not alone. This wasn't a one-on-one conversation with Donald. It was a much bigger group. Let's just leave it at that.
As we just played, this morning you vowed to continue helping investigators. And we know that you have been helping the Manhattan District Attorney in their investigation against the Trump Organization and Alan Weisselberg, the CFO, who you just mentioned. I think that you've met with them, I mean, according to reports, like a dozen times.
Yes.
Or something. And so what's the status of that?
The status is they're working on it. They're working on it hard, and as you know, Donald is litigious, and so they want to ensure that they have everything in order before they bring this. Obviously, they don't want to bring disrepute to the office, and they have to make sure that when they do file those indictments against anyone whose last name is Trump or others, that those indictments stick.
When did you last meet with them?
I can't say any of that, but it's on a regular and ongoing basis.
You've always predicted on our air and elsewhere that Donald Trump and his adult children would be indicted, but that hasn't happened.
Not yet.
Why not?
The wheels of justice turn slowly, but at the end of the day, they do ultimately turn full circle.
I mean, if you have been providing valuable and legitimate information to the investigators, what's taking so long?
That you're going to have to ask to Mr. Pomerantz, to Cy Vance, and to Tish James. I believe, personally, that they have more than enough in order to bring the indictments yesterday.
So you believe that you have provided actual receipts, actual evidence of crimes being done, or did you just sort of directionally point them in the right direction?
Or a combination of both. A combination of both.
That's what you think, that
yes.
you have.
Mm-hmm.
And you still, as you sit here today, believe that Donald Trump will be indicted for something.
I do.
And what do you think he will be indicted for?
Again, I can't say. I don't want to get into the sum and substance of the investigation, other than to say that they are working very hard, and they're working on a daily basis in terms of bringing this indictment. And again, your point is very well taken, and it's one of the reasons I made the statement that I did, today when I left the 500 Pearl Street, that I will continue to cooperate and I will continue to provide more documents and information. And the reason that I did that is because I received so many text messages or tweets asking me, once you're free, are you going to continue to do what we're hoping that you're going to continue to do, and that's provide the information? And so the answer is an emphatic yes.
On a larger note, you've obviously paid a very steep price for your association with Donald Trump. You're not alone. By our last count, at least 11 close Donald Trump associates have been charged with crimes for work that they've done that was somehow connected to Donald Trump. Why do you think so many people around Donald Trump get charged with crimes and he does not?
Because we're stupid? I have no idea. I mean, in all fairness, I don't have an answer for it. You know, Donald, as everybody is well aware, never had an email address. And so even, and I talk about this in my book, Disloyal, he doesn't tell you what to do. He'll never tell you, go get me a Coke. He just screams out Coke. Right? So this is the way a mob boss speaks. This is what a mob boss does. They speak in code, and that way he thinks that that's going to stop them from being able to prosecute him for the actions that are taken at his direction, right, and for his benefit, and he would be wrong.
As you know, there's a lot of speculation about whether or not Donald Trump will run for president again in 2024. Bill Maher has been talking about this a lot, including he was just on with Chris Cuomo, I believe, last week. So here's what he said that night.
Trust me, he's going to run. Absolutely. He's going to get the nomination. And I certainly wouldn't be surprised if he just won the election. But even if he doesn't win the election, he will say he won the election.
Do you agree?
No, I don't agree. And Bill Maher is a great guy. I was on his show. I enjoy it very much, but he's absolutely wrong. Donald will not run.
Why?
Because, first of all, he has an incredibly fragile ego. He lost by, 9 million votes the first time. He will lose by more than 9 million the second, and his fragile ego cannot stand to be considered a two-time loser.
But won't he just say that he won, just like what Bill Maher said? Even if he loses, he'll just say that he won.
Why? He's already saying it for the 2020 election that he won, and he'll just continue that. This is nothing more than the world's greatest grift. He's bringing in money greater than when he had the Trump organization with all of its assets. So why would he give this up? And he will only give it up on the day of the election. He will drag this thing on all the way to the end. I have an original document that Donald, I actually penned it, but he signed it, which is why I have it, whereby he decided not to run in 2011. And of course, the reasons he talked about was his real estate. He was, the apprentice and so on. He's going to do the same thing. The only difference this time versus last is that he's making money each and every day by sending out more texts. Oh, Donald's run, send $25.
So you think it's just a fundraising scheme, but doesn't he like the power? Didn't he enjoy being president with all of that power that we saw him exert?
He's completely addicted to the power, but he doesn't need to be the president in his mind to be the man behind the power, which of course goes to his adage, right? Come and kiss the ring. That's a Donald adage.
He says that?
Yeah, all the time, that they're all coming to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring.
So that's why why do you think he still holds sway over so many leading Republicans?
Because he still has a base of people who I truly don't understand, who don't understand that Donald Trump does not want to be president of this country. He wants to be a dictator, an autocrat, a monarch. He wants to be the Kim Jong-un, the Vladimir Putin, the Mohammed bin Salman of America. The only problem is that's not what we want. We're a democracy, and we have a constitution, and he's trying to shred this constitution on a daily basis by violating people like my First Amendment constitutional rights and doing other things, all in order to grab the power that he thinks he's entitled to.
Today, a federal judge was sentencing one of the U.S. Capitol rioters and said this: Al Gore had a better case to argue than Mr. Trump, but he was a man about what happened to him. He accepted it and walked away, meaning his loss. Do you think that Donald Trump will ever move on from talking about claiming that he won when in fact he lost by
No chance. No chance, because again, it would mean that he would have to acknowledge that he's a loser, that he lost to, oh my God, Joe Biden. How could I, the great Donald, lose to sleepy Joe Biden? It's just not possible. His mind, he is, like I said, he has a fragile ego, so he cannot allow that to ever happen. Not in his mind, and what his goal is to convince you that he won the election. And he has done that with this percentage of Americans that are so deep into the cult of Trump. And trust me, I know about the cult of Trump. I was one of its leaders, maybe one of its founders. And I see exactly the stupidity of people as I walk in the city, or I get certain text messages on occasion from individuals who are so entrenched into this cult that they can't see straight.